Hello, my name is John Wright. I wanted to talk about getting high notes on the trombone. Many people have asked me, emailed me about how to do that exactly. It's not just one little trick. You'll find that it's many different things working together to produce high notes on the trombone or any type of brass instrument. The first thing that's most important to do is to warm up slowly. There's muscles in your mouth that you can pull if you try to warm up too quickly or start going for high notes. You want to just warm up very, very, very slowly. The second thing is you don't want to play loud notes when you first warm up, because that will sting. If you're vibrating these lips very, very fast, especially like in the low register where your lips are kind of flapping around, it can sting your lips, cause them to swell up, and then they won't even want to vibrate in any frequency. So, and another thing is you don't want to press the mouthpiece into your mouth, because that will also restrict blood flow, cause the lips to swell up and not want to vibrate as well. The next little thing that you want to do is you want to, when you're going for high notes, is to say E. Like for instance, when we tongue notes in the low register, we want to say da, 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 da. You want to drop your tongue to the bottom of your mouth and have the inside of your mouth wide open. A bad tone can be caused by having the inside of your mouth closed, like T. Like for instance, I'll demonstrate. If my mouth is closed on the inside, it's a very nasal kind of a sound. But if I open up the inside of my mouth, and I'm going da da da, and I'm getting a yawning sensation as I do that. You don't want to open up your throat. You want to get everything open and just a rich, warm air flowing. But as you go for high notes, you go from da hee. I'm just arcing the very back of my tongue, not the front, but the very back of it, so that the air has to pass over that arced tongue and it gets the air moving faster, therefore you're popping out these high notes. But I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm just going to use the back of my tongue, which will cause the air to move over it faster, which will cause the air to pass faster over my lip, and it'll cause it to buzz faster. But just as using my tongue only, I'm kind of going ta-ee, like that. Another thing that you want to do, when I play trombone, I tend to, with my bottom lip, I'll bring it kind of up and under. Some brass players say no, the lips have to be aligned, and it works for them. Their lips are naturally aligned that way. My lips are not naturally aligned that way. You kind of have to go with how your mouth is made. But for me, I kind of bring my bottom lip kind of up and slightly under. And it's like taking your thumb over the end of a water hose. Your thumb is like your bottom lip that kind of comes up and under, and it causes that water to rush out of the water hose and shoot faster. And it's the same thing with a trombone or a brass instrument. You're focusing your bottom lip kind of up and under, and my lip kind of goes oh, oh. And I'm going to use this this mouthpiece visualizer right here. I'm going to try to turn so you can see it in the light, and my beautiful wife is going to zoom in a little bit so you can see my lips inside this mouthpiece visualizer. This is the trombone side. I got the trumpet side on this side. But my lip kind of focuses up and inward, and I'll do that again. Another little trick is that if I'm going for extreme high register, I can lower my lips down. I have mainly my upper lip in the mouthpiece and a little bit of my bottom. But what I'm doing is sometimes going for high notes, I will shift downward even more, and I'll use my top lip to kind of almost make a smaller mouthpiece out of this mouthpiece. Let me set my trombone down. I've got this big mouthpiece. When I'm playing the low register, I'll go, and when I'm playing, you never want to mash your lips together. You just have them kind of relaxed apart. That air rushing through the instrument will suck your lips, the soft part of your tissue of your lips, in together anyway. You don't have to mash them together. You'll get a pinch sound if you do that. But I spread my teeth. My teeth are so far apart that I can put my thumb between my teeth. And that soft tissue is going to come together and buzz anyway, just passing that air through it. But as I go for high notes, my bottom lip's going to kind of come up and under. I'm going to increase the airspeed. I'm going to arc the back of my tongue. to try to turn more into the light so that you can see it better. And the corners of my mouth are coming down and in. You never want to smile like this. I did that as a 5th grader. Bad idea. You want to keep the corners of your mouth down and in. They can stay still. I've seen a lot of wonderful brass players, some of the best in the world. There's like no change in their face at all. It's like they're just rock solid and they're playing all over the place. But again, and if you ever watch the corners of my mouth, you can see the corners of my mouth kind of coming down and in a little bit like. Everything's like a focus inward, the arc of the tongue, everything is creating this fast channel of air just moving over the tongue, down through the lips. Everything is focused. I'm giving a smaller vibrating area for the center of my lip to vibrate, and it's just it's a smaller, higher pitched sound that I can get from that. You want to keep the mouthpiece centered on your mouth, and you do that, you want to look into a mirror, and you want to make sure that you don't. I knew a trumpet player that I worked with. He would sometimes pull to the side when he went for high notes. You don't want to do that. Keep it centered so that you can keep that airflow centered and so that everything's a direct path. That way your airstream could go really, really quick. Another thing to try is like the trumpet size. If you can go and say you've paid off your trombone and you could rent to own a trumpet. I wanted to interrupt the video to give a more concise explanation of the benefits of playing a trumpet for a trombone player. For one thing, it helps you to develop and strengthen the inner ring of embouchure muscles that help you to hit those high notes. But you do have to be patient with yourself. You're using muscles that you really haven't used before. So it'll take a while, a couple of months as you play. But if you do that, and even if you can't get a trumpet, maybe there's a trumpet in the instrument storage room or the band room that's not being used, maybe your relative's got one, maybe you can pick one up at a pawn shop or attic sale, whatever it may be, but see if you can get one, or rent to own one if you've paid your trombone off already. But the benefits are huge for hitting high range. For me it was. Or just get a mouthpiece. For instance, this is a 1C mouthpiece. I got pretty big lips, so the only way I can get a good sound really is to get a 1C mouthpiece. You may have to special order that because a lot of stores don't carry them, but you can get them. It's a pretty big mouthpiece, but and it helps me to get a bigger, fuller sound on the trumpet too. It's great for playing like second, third trumpet parts. But it does help to build up those inner embouchure muscles that you need to have. Be patient with yourself. You're using muscles you've never used before. And so you just have to kind of go slow at it. Then later on you'll be able to tutor younger players. You can help trumpet players. You can help your band director by helping younger trumpet players that are in your band. But it's like, for instance, if you want to work on just buzzing on the trumpet mouthpiece, if all you can get is a trumpet mouthpiece. That's just doing that and just. It gets you past this mental block that, I'll never be able to play these high notes. But you can. And developing those inner set of muscles will help you to do that. But then, and then of course you want to work on a good sound on the trumpet. Use that legato tonguing that we use on trombone. But getting a nice rich open sound by opening up the inside of your mouth. But then how do you transfer what you did on this little mouthpiece to, say, a trombone? What I do is take this little mouthpiece that I have right here, and then I say, well, I've got to recreate that small mouthpiece in here. So what I'll do, and this may be called cheating, but it's what I do. If I say a regular note on the trombone is like, well, sometimes if I want to recreate this mouthpiece, a smaller trumpet mouthpiece, all I do is shift down to where this is my top lip. I'm going to shift it down to where I kind of I use the bottom rim and my top lip to kind of form a small trumpet mouthpiece out of this mouthpiece, the trombone mouthpiece. So and from here, I'll just kind of shift down to, and I'll be able to hit some of those high notes by just kind of shifting down into the mouthpiece. and it works great for me. And I'm also, because I'm bringing my bottom lip up and under, I'm kind of blowing down, fast airstream. Everything is channeled fast through this mouthpiece to pop out those high notes. Like I showed you a while ago, I'm going to bring my bottom, I'll shift. When I'm going for high notes, sometimes I'll quickly shift. I can create a smaller trumpet mouthpiece out of the trombone mouthpiece by saying, I'm going to just pull everything down, and I'm going to just use about that much of the mouthpiece. I'm using the bottom rim as the bottom of my new trumpet mouthpiece that I'm using out of this. And so I'll just shift down quickly. Like say I'm in the low register, I'll play real wide open, but I'll go. Now, I need to warm up. But let me demonstrate, because the back pressure, because of the cup around it, helps to do this a little bit easier on a trombone, an actual trombone. Like here is the same scale that I just played. You got your low B flat scale on a trombone. Now I'm going to play the same register on the trumpet in the top octave on the trombone. I shifted down a little bit, and I just kind of made a little trumpet mouthpiece out of this mouthpiece, and you can do that on up and just practice. I'm using all these different techniques: faster air, arcing the back of the tongue, kind of pulling the corners of my mouth down and in, focusing everything inward, making a faster air stream. Say a C scale. And just learning, that's where it's in tune. You have to really use your ear. And then say, I'm going to just go on up. But that's a high E flat. Hopefully all these things working together will help you to be able to hit some of these higher notes that you might want to hit.